Internet lighting up with questions over this video. Did the object come from the rocket or from somewhere else?
An unidentified object was caught on camera flying past the SpaceX rocket just minutes after liftoff.
This object you see here was caught on camera flying past the SpaceX rocket just minutes after liftoff last week.
Musk, a South African-born billionaire and entrepreneur who is currently the world's richest person, established SpaceX. At the age of 30, Musk amassed his first fortune by selling two successful businesses, Zip2, which he sold for $307 million in 1999, and PayPal, which eBay purchased for $1.5 billion in 2002. Musk chose to launch a privately funded space company as his next major project. Initially, Musk proposed sending a greenhouse to Mars, dubbed the Mars Oasis. His goal was to pique the public's interest in space exploration while simultaneously establishing a science station on Mars. But the cost was too great, so Musk founded Space Exploration Technologies Corp., or SpaceX, which is now based in the Los Angeles suburb of Hawthorne, California. SpaceX is a spacecraft manufacturer, space launch provider, and satellite communication company. Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy launch vehicles, multiple rocket engines, Cargo Dragon, crew spacecraft, and the Starlink communication satellite are among the company's most popular products. The Starlink satellite internet constellation has launched many missions into space, and it's only natural for space aficionados to be fascinated by the footage of such events. And as it turns out, several of these missions on board SpaceX's numerous spacecrafts have encountered unexplained objects, which many believe could imply the presence of aliens out there. Elon Musk just stated that one of SpaceX's cameras is constantly detecting something enormous during their missions, and they have no idea what it is. What is this object? And are those Mars aliens spying on Musk and his spacecraft? Join us as we study this enigmatic object that SpaceX cameras continue to detect on their missions. Musk was an accomplished businessman when he founded SpaceX, and he was convinced that more frequent and reliable launches would lower the cost of exploration. As a result, he sought out a dependable customer who could pay the early stages of rocket development, NASA. As a result, his ambition for SpaceX was to create the Falcon 1, the first privately manufactured liquid-fueled launcher to reach space. The Falcon 9 is SpaceX's workhorse rocket, and one of its strengths is reusability. Falcon 9 can carry substantially more cargo than Falcon 1, 13,150 kilograms to low Earth orbit compared to 670 kilograms for Falcon 1. The first Falcon 9 booster landing occurred on December 21, 2015, and SpaceX is now working to make booster retrieval a standard procedure. In most cases, they land on a robotic drone ship near the launch pad. Many of the Falcon 9 boosters have been reused in order to lower launch costs. On February 6, 2018, a more powerful rocket known as Falcon Heavy made its debut, meeting nearly all of its important milestones. Falcon Heavy successfully launched into orbit, carrying a Tesla Roadster and a spacesuit mannequin dubbed Starman. SpaceX broadcast a live stream of the launch and the Roadster's first few hours in space, which drew worldwide attention. The two rocket boosters landed safely near Kennedy Space Center, but the core stage impacted the ocean at 300 miles per hour, 480 kilometers per hour, which was too fast, and it was destroyed. Falcon Heavy then executed an engine burn in space, which was planned to propel the Roadster at least as far as Mars orbit. Space station delivery was the next and most important step for SpaceX. In May 2012, Dragon, on board a Falcon 9 rocket, carried its first cargo to the space station as part of the COTS test flight. The launch was delayed for a few days due to an engine failure, but the rocket successfully launched on the second attempt. SpaceX, through Starlink, also provides satellite internet access coverage to 40 nations with the goal of providing global mobile service by 2023. The satellites were launched in 2019, and by September 2022, Starlink would consist of about 3,000 mass-produced compact satellites in low Earth orbit. These communicate with specified ground transceivers. The company hopes to deploy approximately 12,000 satellites, with a possible increase to 42,000 in the near future. Starlink also intends to launch the Starlink satellite aboard Starship, a SpaceX rocket that is presently in development and has a significant larger payload capability. These satellites, according to Elon Musk, resemble little flat UFOs, and Starlink has now declared that from now on only Starship will be used as the launch vehicle for the considerably larger Starlink version 2.0. Now, while watching one of Starlink's satellites' launches, fans marvelling at the remarkable achievement observed something weird in the backdrop. The object appeared to most persons who saw it to be a gigantic cigar. It appeared to be flying alongside the rocket. This is not the first time one of SpaceX's several cameras has discovered what seems to be an unidentified flying object. Almost every time the company launches a rocket into space, the excited audience notices some strange and out-of-place object in the footage. Many others were able to get images and screenshots of the object from the video. This quick thinking gave us with proof that there was something visible on the rocket. Otherwise, it could have been overlooked because the fast movement didn't keep it in frame for more than a second or two. The majority of those who saw the cigar-shaped object were ecstatic and nearly fully certain it was a UFO. The pictures went viral and everyone wondered what the strange cylindrical item in the frame was. Most experts dismissed the object as space debris, but alien enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists have their own minds in such cases, and due to the recurrence of such strange objects in various other videos from outer space, they were unwilling to dismiss it as something as inconsequential as trash in space. Because of the finding of this strange cylindrical object going past the rocket, many people have been watching the other launch films extremely closely. They're also eager to examine any footage from prospective launches to ensure they don't miss any further appearances of the massive eerie object. After all, they come across these UFOs on a regular basis. NASA and SpaceX successfully flew 4 astronauts into orbit on both SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft in April 2022. Except for one little hiccup, the launch went off without a hitch. While heading to the International Space Station, the team encountered a massive object. The US Space Command alerted them of a likely collision with an unidentified object. The object was being tracked and labelled as unidentified. According to NASA spokesperson Kelly Humphreys, there was no time to undertake an avoidance maneuver to move the spacecraft out of the course of the object. As a result, SpaceX urged the astronauts to put on their pressure belts in the event of a collision. According to US Space Command spokesperson Erin Dick, the Pentagon warned NASA about the potential collision about 7 hours after the spacecraft launched. However, subsequent investigation revealed that there was no collision danger and that all astronauts aboard the spacecraft were safe. The closest approach of the mystery object was 45 kilometers from the craft, which was not startling enough to cause panic, but was close enough to cause concern. As it turns out that SpaceX isn't the only one who has captured the cigar-shaped anomaly, as these have been seen in many videos from space. Long before the SpaceX camera captured the strange cylindrical look, NASA imagery featured a similar object. Back in 2016, UFO enthusiasts reported seeing yet another alien ship close to the International Space Station. They assumed it had the shape of a cigar. Many people believed that this long cylindrical alien ship had already visited humanity. The item was spotted in NASA's feed from the space station by Scott Waring, a relentless alien spotter. He was also the one who noticed that the object resembled a reported spacecraft sighted near the space shuttle Atlantis in 2006. The UFO spotters, like most other UFO sighting instances, failed to report the more rational explanations for these objects seen in space. Scott is sure that aliens actually exist and make periodic appearances in our solar system. As I was watching, he explained, I noticed a long cylindrical object floating alongside and below the space station. The object's speed was comparable to that of the ISS, although it was semi-transparent. Unfortunately for him, the screen went blue just as he expected it to focus. According to him, when NASA captures a UFO on camera, they simply cut the transmission for a few minutes. He also stated that the weird cigar-shaped object reminded him of the cylinder UFO and orbs seen on CNN near the space shuttle Atlantis in 2006. That object, however, was followed by 5 to 10 grey metal orbs that did not emerge this time. It appears that cigar-shaped object eggs are popular in space. Back in 2017, an allegedly cigar-shaped object called the Oumuamua was seen speeding through our solar system. Astronomers were unsure how to describe it, but were certain that it was not an alien vessel. Its unusual shape and velocity, however, led some scientists to believe the Oumuamua was some type of alien device exploring the cosmos. After all, it was the first object from another star system to stumble into ours. However, after reviewing the data, an international committee of researchers found that there was insufficient evidence to support an alien explanation. It was given the formal designation 1I 2017 U1. On October 19, 2017, Rob Werrick detected Oumuamua using the Pan-STARRS telescope and the Haleakala Observatory in Hawaii. Oumuamua was around 30.3 million kilometers from Earth when it was detected, and it was already traveling away from the Sun. From October 14, 2016 through January 2, 2018, scientists followed the reddish object. Then it got too faint to see with even the most powerful telescope. The length of Oumuamua was estimated to be roughly 800 meters. Matthew Knight, an astronomer at the University of Maryland and co-leader of the research report published in Nature Astronomy, noted that their primary result was that Oumuamua's attributes were consistent with the natural origin and that an alien explanation was unjustified. They would have probed more on the extraterrestrial spaceship front if it had taken a sudden inexplicable turn. The term Oumuamua is derived from the native Hawaiian language and refers to a messenger who has travelled a long distance. Knight also stated that it was difficult to categorize this object as a comet or an asteroid. They avoided putting it into one of those boxes and instead used a broad phrase such as object. Oumuamua was blasted from a distant star system and was travelling through interstellar space, according to the experts. It veered slightly from a route that could have been explained solely by the Sun's gravitational attraction due to what some researchers believe was a small release of gas from its surface. This would imply that it was a comet, but any such emission would have been too faint to detect. It also lacked a dust trail or a gas jet, both of which are unmistakable signs of a comet. According to the researchers, a simple explanation for Oumuamua is that it is a planetesimal, or a remnant of a planet that formed in a distant star system. The makeup of this intriguing object is still unknown. It is difficult to say if it is simply a rock or contains metal or other materials. But what if UFO seekers and alien fanatics are correct about the cigar-shaped entities? What if they're more than just cosmic junk or inert bits from the great reaches of space? After all, there's no way to know what these mystery things are or why they're shaped like that. Let us know what you think of these cigar-shaped objects in the comments section.